US President-elect Donald Trump has unveiled more picks for his incoming cabinet. He has so far nominated political allies, firebrands, and a few conservative figures. Mr. Trump has tapped former congressman and Fox Business host Sean Duffy as his next transportation secretary. Over the weekend, Mr. Trump appointed Brendan Carr as the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, an independent agency that regulates telecommunications. Mr. Carr has been a critic of the Biden administration's telecom policies and big tech, as well as an advocate of the agency's hard line on Chinese telco companies. Everyone, Nick Harper joins us live from Washington, D.C. Nick, a hard fight, though, for who will be U.S. Treasury Secretary, given that whoever is has a very big impact on markets and rates very close to Mr. Trump's heart.
Well, that's right, Wei-Su. And according to reports, the search for that Treasury Secretary is not going very well. There have been disagreements that have bubbled to the surface, and all of that has meant that while we've seen many other appointments come through, that pick for the Treasury Secretary seems to be on pause at the moment. Now, it was reported that Trump was close to making an announcement on Friday, but he's now having to cast the net wider. He's holding meetings and interviews at Mar-a-Lago to try and pick the nominee. It's all down to infighting, it seems, between the two top candidates. We've even seen Elon Musk weighing in to try and get Howard Lutnick appointed. Now, he's the person who co-chairs the Trump transition team, but Trump has reportedly now soured on Lutnick. So there now seems to be two other people under consideration. Kevin Warsh, he's a former investment banker and a former Federal Reserve governor, and billionaire Mark Rowan. He is the co-founder of a private equity company. Warsh, it would seem, is being considered as the favourite, mainly because he and Trump have close personal ties. Trump has turned to him in the past for economic advice, and he'd previously considered him to serve as the chairman of the Federal Reserve. But one person we know definitely won't be getting the job, and that's chief executive of JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon. Last week, Trump confirmed that he wouldn't be appointing him, largely, it would seem, because Dimon showed support for his rival Kamala Harris during the election campaign.
And Nick, Mr. Trump, as he's picking his appointees for his new cabinet, he's also waiting a verdict from his hush money case, his criminal conviction. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, well, we could hear in the next few hours if that conviction is going to be overturned. A New York judge, Juan Merchant, is the man who needs to make the decision. He was the judge who was in charge of the trial earlier this year, where Trump was found guilty of violating campaign donation rules by making those hush money payments to an adult film star. But obviously a lot has changed since that conviction. And with his election win, we know that Donald Trump will be returning to the White House on January the 20th. We also know that sitting presidents cannot be convicted of a crime, but can a president-elect be sentenced for one? Well, that's a bit more of a grey area, so we're entering this uncharted legal territory. The judge has set a deadline of 10 a.m. New York time, so about 2 hours from now, by which time he's asked prosecutors to tell him if they wish to move forward with sentencing. That sentencing is due to take place next Tuesday. Trump's lawyers, of course, have already argued that the conviction should be overturned. Now, if the prosecutors want to go ahead with the sentencing, it'll be up to the judge to choose whether he's going to do that or whether he's going to instead vacate the verdict, essentially marking it down as null and void, or perhaps even dismissing the entire indictment altogether. Remember, though, Trump's sentencing has already been delayed twice. That was after the Supreme Court ruled earlier this year that presidents enjoyed broad immunity for acts carried out while in office.
Nick Harper there reporting on the latest developments getting on for 2 weeks after the election win for Donald Trump. Nick Harper reporting live from Washington, D.C.